Do not be like those who become divided and differ after clear proofs have come to them, and those will have a great punishment. So I came on board with CARE about 8 months ago now. And when I was looking for, okay, so what is our purpose? What is our mission? These are the ayats that we want to build it on, right? That we want to strengthen the bonds of our community. We want to strengthen the bonds of our relationships. And then through that community, we start to identify and develop leaders that have the ability in society to enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong. You got to have a little bit of a capacity to be able to do that. And then likewise for all of us to be reminded that once we continue to rebuild this community, that we don't become divided. That we don't be divided amongst ourselves. Next slide, please. So here's the mission of MCAN. The mission of MCAN is to build power within the Muslim community by strengthening the relationships within and between Muslim-led institutions, and identify, train, and develop leaders, and foster strong relationships with our elected officials and community partners. Okay, next slide. And our vision. Again, this vision comes out of those ayats from Surah Al-Imran. The vision is to build power by establishing a network of masjids and Muslim institutions throughout the Kerala region, with the capacity to positively shape their communities and to be politically relevant. This will be done through the lens of Muslim values, the lived experience of Muslim families, and a commitment to the common good. Next slide, please. And so here is just an elementary representation of what we hope this to be. That instead of our masjids being like on little islands throughout this region, how are we intentionally working with these masjids, making sure that they're in relationship with one another and making sure that they're in relationship with CARE. And when there are things that we could work on together locally, we're able to do that in an effective manner. And then when there are things that require multiple masjids to work together, we have the ability to do that together with no ego, with no concern about losing members or anything like that, but we are constantly working to make things happen together. Next slide. And then, so what does that strategy, what does that look like? We start with one, I always go back to the importance of identifying, training, and developing leaders. That we need to have groups of people that understand how to engage our local elected officials, how to make things happen. We'll stop there. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. 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 حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا وسلنا ولا نقل بي ولا بي من المجيد. اللهم بك ولا نقل بي ولا بي من المجيد. All right, so the way that we do any of what we're trying to do is that we are hoping to identify, train, and develop leaders at every masjid that are, one, invested in engaging the community itself, in order to listen to the stories and the challenges that our families face, but then also we're working to train them and develop them to engage the broader community. Next. Organizing core organizing teams within each of the Muslim institutions. Next. Create a culture of engagement within the institutions in order to build dense networks of relationships. Next. There we go. Educate the Muslim community on the habits and practices of civic engagement and organizing in order to be more effective as public actors. Just a little bit, we'll pause here, just a little bit about myself. Before I came to CARE about 8 months ago, I largely worked in interfaith organizations. And so these are some of the things that the reality is the different churches and synagogues have been doing for a very long period of time. And this is new to the Muslim community. And so this is not, but it's very much in line with kind of the prophetic model of how do we build community. Next. Developing relationships with elected officials. And an important point is to say rooted in accountability. It's one thing for a person to get elected, but how do we make sure that they recognize our community and make sure that we're able to advocate on behalf of the things that we care about, right? Next. And then to advocate for policies that support the Muslim community, the common good, and to fight against those that would negatively impact the community. One of the things that we've been working on for the last few months during this legislative session is a bill called AB 715. Anyone knows what AB 715 is? That is not good. All right, so AB 715 is a bill that is about ethnic studies. There is a Jewish caucus within the legislature that what they have done is said they don't want no acknowledgement of what is happening in Gaza right now. And they're conflating the idea of anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, right? Where if any teacher was to critique the state of Israel about what is happening in Gaza, then there would be a person that could potentially discipline them or threaten their job or their place of work. And so we have been fighting against this bill, not just CARE, but with many allies throughout the state. And unfortunately, this thing has been flying through the legislature. And it has flown to the Governor Gavin Newsom's desk, right? And so just today, we were working to engage as many of the masters throughout the state of California as possible to get them to sign on to a letter asking the governor to veto this bill, right? But what we should understand about that is that there is a disparity between the power we have, whether it's here in our region or statewide, and unfortunately, this other side has a lot of power and influence that has allowed them to get a jump on us in a way. There's no shortcuts to building power. And sometimes we say the word power, people cringe, what do we mean by power, right? But power simply means the capacity to act. It comes from a Spanish word, poder, to be able, right? So if you're able to do a thing, is an indication of whether you have power or you don't have power. So if we're able to stop a bill, that means we had the power to stop a bill. If we're unable to stop a bill, that means we need to build more power so that way this doesn't happen again. And so, with that understanding, this is the kind of the strategy of how we want to deepen our engagement of our local Muslim communities in order to help to build the type of power locally and for us collectively to have more power within the Southern California region, okay? And so now we get to the good part. Next slide, please. So we start as an organizer. The first thing that we should always do is start by listening. And what listening does is that one allows us to look for and identify leaders in our community. And what we mean by leaders is those that are connected to people, right? And they have certain qualities that as a trained eye I'm looking for. One of those qualities is anger. Anger. Okay? Anger, that's another one of those words that makes us kind of, tense up a little bit, right? But anger comes from a Norse word, ange, and it relates or connects to grief. That we've experienced something that causes grief in our life. And that grief could be a tool used to motivate us to do something different. And so we are looking for people that see the issues that exist in our community and aren't satisfied with just sitting back and saying, oh, subhanAllah, mashallah, may Allah grant them ease. But those people that say, you know what, the Prophet ﷺ says, when you see an injustice, to change it with your hands. If you can't change it with your hands, speak out against it. If you can't speak out against it, at least condemn it in your heart. Right? That allows for us, that requires us to be connected with how we are impacted by the issues that we see prevalent in our environment. So, in order to start to understand that there's a long tradition of what we call house meetings, where people have organized themselves by bringing people together in order to share their experiences and the challenges that they've dealt with that provokes them to do something about it. And so the house meetings give us an opportunity. This particular strategy is a part of a broader strategy where we're going to as many matches as we can. But it's an opportunity to engage the communities around the masjid. It's an opportunity to test people out. Can people bring people together? And then, as always, it's an opportunity to find new leaders. Next slide. All right, so now here's the fun part. What we want to do is, a house meeting is a small group conversation that has a prompt, okay? And this prompt for tonight is share a story about a local pressure facing you and your family. I'll give you an example. I have an 8-year-old. My 8-year-old's name is Khalid Muhammad. And my beautiful little son is on the spectrum. So we had him in Islamic school, New Horizon, West Side, New Horizon in West LA. And loved the school, loved the community. But the challenge was that it didn't have the capacity to provide the support that my son needed. So after a year and a half, my son didn't know his alphabets. And so halfway through the school year, we had to take my son out of his school, put him in a public school, and with some additional resources, my son started to flourish. We would have the closed captions on the television. He would start calling out different words. And he still struggles a bit, but he's doing much, much better. Now, unfortunately, we're sad that we've had to take him out of the Muslim school. And so now we have to fill in some other gaps. But alhamdulillah, it's been going better. But that's the pressure that we're currently facing, is navigating the system of IEPs and providing support for my son. So that's our pressure, right? Now, how long was that? That wasn't that long. Do y'all understand what me and my wife talk about pretty often? Can anybody relate to that? My story? Okay, we got a couple hands, right? And so, but you would have never known unless I had the opportunity to share. And so many times we experience things and we quietly deal with it ourselves, and we don't have the opportunity to share, to be heard, and then find groups of people that want to do something, work with us to do something about it. So what we're going to do is divide ourselves into small groups. We got these tables. Try to sit with folks that you do not know. Ask one person to volunteer to kind of lead the conversation. And I will ask one person to be a scribe. We'll get some paper for you where you could just jot down some brief notes about the stories that people share. And then we ask everyone to have your story about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. And everyone have an opportunity to share and to listen. Does that make sense? Any questions, reactions? Sometimes our community, we can be shy, right? But we can't, this is an opportunity to kind of come out of the shyness, okay? So if we take these two tables right here, maybe combine these two tables into one group, all right? And we can have, if the sisters want to, you all seem to know each other, huh? So let's mix up, maybe make two groups out of this group of sisters here. Can we do that? Yeah, so this table could go there, maybe you two. Can you come up here front? Okay, great. All right, you want to join one of the sisters groups, and then you can join one of the brothers groups here? And I'll lead one of the groups, but we'll need a couple volunteers, and Sister Archer will lead one of the groups. So is everybody clear? We have one question, share a story about a local pressure facing you and your family. And everyone gets an opportunity, 2 minutes apiece. Okay? All right. We have 15 minutes, inshallah, because Ish is going to come in a little bit. All right, Assalamu alaikum. Let me turn this off. Well, actually, since you're here, you can lead this one, and I'll leave this one back here. All right. Assalamu alaikum. All right, how are you? Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well. Can we get my, I got our pressures. Think about it. I'm going to be right back and ask you the question. Let me grab my, oops, excuse me. All right. All right. Can we just go around one time to some names? Mustafa. Salman.
Yeah.
Fahad. Hassan. Luai. All right. Pleasure to meet you all. All right. Anyone got a story they want to share? It could be current. It could be in the past. You know, whichever.
I mean, I can think of one that kind of parallels your kind of story in some ways, which school-wise, right? I have two little kids, and at this point, we're trying to figure out what do we do for my kids' school. We got a 3-year-old who's about to start going to school, and the environment that has been created with everything you learn in school. You mentioned AB 715, things like that. But then also, like in addition to that, school shootings that happen here in this country. You don't even feel safe sending your kids to school anymore because of these school shootings that have. Let alone when you do send them and everything is safe, they're learning things that they probably shouldn't be learning. So that's one big thing that my wife and I are struggling with right now is we get children that are about to go to school. No, that is a tough reality. And we had a town hall at my son's school about a kid threatening to shoot school. Oh, wow.
A 4-year-old, fourth grader.
Oh,
so,
wow.
You know, this is in West LA. But you know, they found it wasn't kind of a credible kid running his mouth. He's fourth grader, you know. So that's a very real reality.
You know, the day that the whole Charlie Kirk thing happened, there was a school that got shot up that day. Nobody talks about that.
No. Yes.
I think somebody died.
It was like 3 schools in a row. It was like 3 days in a row.
They don't even make the news anymore.
That's how common it's become. And actually today I asked ChatGPT, just today because my wife and I were talking about it. How many school shootings have been in California in the last 5 years? Sorry, there's no credible source that has that information.
Nobody want to track that.
They don't even track that information.
Right?
So, I mean, that's government for you probably. They're not tracking it on purpose. I can guarantee
there's no numbers,
knows how many
you can just pretend like it's not happening.
We do.
Okay. Clear. Thank you. Who's next?
Yeah, I mean, for me, so like through work we use WhatsApp to communicate, and so ever since October 7th, I've been very like my profile picture. I make sure it's like something Palestinian related, and like the little blurb, you know, I say like free Palestine or whatever. And one of my coworkers is Zionist. I mean, I knew she was Jewish, right? Obviously, before I thought, okay, she's Jewish, whatever. But apparently she's also a Zionist, and you know, she tried to take it to the higher ups, to do something about this, or whatever. Like, alhamdulillah, like it seems that the people above are actually kind of on my side, right? Like, well, I mean, it's on WhatsApp, like it's my personal WhatsApp, like
Right.
you can't tell me what
It's
to do with my
Facebook.
personal WhatsApp.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was something that for a little while I was a little worried, like, you know, like,
Yeah.
especially, you know, given the environment, it's like people have been fired for a lot less, you know.
Right.
You work for a local company.
It's in New York.
Okay.
So I mean, they're also very Zionist. So.
The company itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. What type of work you do?
Healthcare.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
So you work in New York?
I work remotely.
Oh, remote?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Yeah. There's been 14. You got people losing. You know.
Yeah.
But alhamdulillah, it's good. It's good. To,
Freedom of speech.
Calm down, a couple
expression,
of Charlie
right?
Kirk, and that
Yeah.
things have exploded.
Yeah.
I think there's a doctor at St. Jude that got fired for saying something about the shooting.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
got fired recently.
Yeah. We're going to uncharted territory.
I think for them this is just a test run, right? Like how much can we get away with, and then eventually
Yeah.
law on them.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think I haven't had anything specific.
Well, how's it is your only child?
Yeah, Abdullah.
Abdullah? Alhamdulillah, mashallah. May Allah bless him.
Like,
Yeah.
6 months. 6
Yeah.
months. 7 months. 7 months. I haven't.
Alhamdulillah.
I grew up in Oklahoma.
What part of Oklahoma?
End of November.
You look like you'll be there.
November 3rd.
My mother lives in Oklahoma.
Really? I lived everywhere. Oklahoma City, still Tulsa, Stillwater. Mostly Stillwater.
Okay. Yeah, my family's in Lawton. My mother and 2 sisters are in Lawton.
My daughter, she's 3
Yes.
now. She used to sleep all
So
night. My son.
growing up there, it's kind of
kid's different.
standard,
Like, oh, this is
normal,
kid thing.
everyday
It's not so
living. Is dealing with pressures like this.
Now we're done.
So
No
I
more.
kind of
Hold on.
learned that these pressures are something.
Hold on. It's only he's sharing his.
Oh,
his
sorry.
right here.
I was just telling him, I grew up in Oklahoma. Oklahoma is very pressure state.
Yeah.
So it's a normal event and a daily thing. You encounter these things
Yeah.
daily. I'm not kidding, daily. Daily.
Yeah.
So
What year was this? When you used to live in Oklahoma?
I got here like 83.
Okay.
Left like 2002.